I am Apollonia Ponti. I am your dating, relationship, and attraction coach for men. And I'm going to talk about the two important things that every man, and especially a successful man, needs to listen to, because this is the things that I've been seeing men do wrong. And I want to put a stop to this, especially successful men, what they do wrong when dating women. There's two things that I've just been seeing so much in my membership, in my group coaching, and my private coaching. And I haven't actually done a video about this before. So I really encourage you to stick around, especially if you feel like, you're getting results with women, but it's not sticking. It's not the woman that you really want. It's not like someone that can stimulate you, and it becomes a game, or it becomes boring for you, right? I think this is so important, because so many men that are, trying to find their purpose, and they see all these successful men, and they see these men that are, in the limelight, or athletes, or whatever the case may be, they think that because they have abundance of women that they're just so happy. And I see this all the time. Just because a man has an abundance of women does not mean that he is happy on the inside, gentlemen. And that's what's so important. And honestly, yeah, great. He has an abundance of women, but not every man wants that. Not every man wants to sleep with multiple women either. A lot of men now than ever these days want these better relationships, emotionally successful relationships, want a wife, want to build a home, want to build a family, but also want to find a woman that they can feel secure with and connect with. And so these are the two things that I've noticed that successful men are doing wrong. So if this speaks to you, I definitely want you to comment below and let me know. And before we dive in, if this is your first time visiting this video, I want you to click that subscribe button. And for all of my subscribers, thank you for being a loyal follower. All right, so number one is, you have to understand something. This might seem a little awkward or be like, what? But successful men, they don't choose. They just don't. And so what do I mean by this? Okay, I want you to think of it like this. Men, gentlemen that are watching, you are supposed to be the chooser, just in general. Yeah, women choose the man that they want to be with. They choose the dates that they want to go on or whatever. But the man has the essence to hold attraction and to build that attraction to see if he actually likes the woman. He ends up being the chooser. But what happens with successful men is, because sometimes they have abundance of women, or they're in the limelight, or they are really successful and charming, and they can talk to women, and they have an easygoing charisma about them where they can just meet any woman, talk to them, get their number, and typically women just come to them. And this is what's really important to understand. If you are a man that is successful and has women, but is not happy with the women that he's getting, I want you to think about this. Number one, do you truly choose the women that you want to talk to? Or are you the guy that's like, oh yeah, she came up to me, or she made the first move and she's pretty cute, so let me just see what's go with the flow here. And she's a fun girl and I end up having fun with her, but then months later down the line, you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling her anymore, right? Understand that successful men, typically when they don't understand attraction and ideally what they want from a woman, they don't end up being the choosers. And the reason being is because they're not using attraction in their favor. The women are actually using attraction in their favor, and they're just going along with the flow, because when they like a woman, and they really are like, oh my God, drawn to a specific woman, they're like a deer in headlights, kind of like, what do I do now? Because of the fact that they never really had to attract a woman. And usually the women come to them and they're like, what in the world do I do? I'm doing everything wrong. Or their inner, I should say, mean guy comes out of their lack of confidence when it comes to really truly rejection, because every man and woman have this in us. And then you hear this and they're like, okay, I'm just not going to talk to this woman, or I'm just not going to say anything to her because I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know why I like this, because I get every woman that I really want. Like, girls come up to me and you start trying to make a storyline behind it and trying to make light of it and trying to make sense of it. But in all actuality, you can't. And the reason being is because the women that come to you are already attracted to you. And it's kind of like you're just there and you don't really have to do the work. And it's just kind of handed to you on a silver platter. And then secondly, when you are attracted to the woman, you're like, what do I do? Because the women typically do it for me. And so you'll find yourself kind of trying at times, but then you'll notice like, okay, but I try, but then it doesn't stick, especially to the woman that I want. And I know there's going to be some men in the comments that are just going to say, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe these men are complaining about it. Oh, wow, it's such a big problem that he is getting women and it's handed to him on a silver platter. Would love to have that. But understand, guys, like, judgment plays a huge role in our lives. And if we're judging someone because based off of like what is happening in their lives or what results they're getting, you're not staying in your lane. And it's so important to understand that, even the other side has issues, right? So even men that aren't really great at getting women have issues, just like the men that get women. And I see this all the time. And it's exhausting to these men. And many times, what I've noticed is these men will continue for years and years until their 30s or their 40s or sometimes even their 50s and finally just say, like, I have to change something. I'm not happy in the relationships I have. Like, I want to have a family, I want to be married. And they find themselves just in these relationships with beautiful women that don't bring anything to the table and surface because they don't understand how to attract, meaning assertiveness without being manipulative or destructive or arrogant in the process. They don't understand the part of healthy boundaries. They don't understand, like, what is the inner stuff that I'm looking for in a woman? Like, what do I bring to the table in a relationship? What are my positive? What are my weaknesses in a relationship when I'm in a relationship with a woman? And so what do I need from that woman? Like, I need an active communicator. I need a woman who is not just beyond the physical and the fun and all this. That should be on the back burner because you're always going to attract that. It's more of, is she emotionally available? Is she communicative? Does she have direction in life, right? Is she family oriented? Whatever the goals are of your future that you want to be, you have to get clear on the vision of type of woman that you want to attract in order to basically have conversations with those women and also be able to go somewhere to attract those type of women as well into your basically network. Number two, on what I see men doing wrong in regards to successful men doing wrong when it comes to attracting women, is they have this go-getter mentality. Like, they're so used to not giving up, and this is why they've been so successful. And they have this like mentality that's like, everything in my life I've worked so hard for and I've gotten. And so they bring that mentality into their relationships or their dating process with women. And so it becomes very overwhelming at times for women. Most of the times you have to understand attraction is the dance, gentlemen. And a lot of men that are highly successful live sometimes a little bit more in their masculine when it comes to leadership in their work and whatever area of their life. But then when it comes to relationship, they sometimes can fall a little bit in their feminine or the wounded masculine or the wounded feminine a little bit more. And so there has to be a balance because attraction is an art. And so what typically happens is they become overwhelming. They have a lot of assumptions. They have a lot of expectations. And it really kind of doesn't give a woman steady waters to feel attracted to you. And so instead, it's feeling like a goal to you. So you're going about attraction too logically instead of emotionally, right? Instead of being clear, instead of being intentful, instead of being decisive. And that is so important. The key here is a man that is successful with women, and it can be any man, is intentful for the woman that he wants to date. And it takes a lot from a man because it's not taught in society for a man to say, like, this is what I want from a woman. And really truly own that from empathy and just really compassion and not like, oh, a woman must respect me, kind of machismo type of act. Like, this is not going to play out because women are really intuitive. We can feel that. Highly successful man can really destroy relationships because of the fact that they are trying too hard. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples if this is speaking to you. So let's say you meet a beautiful woman, she's really high quality in your eyes, okay? And the reason why she's high quality in your eyes is because she's beautiful and she is a fun girl to be around. But yet she lacks really communication. She's not really initiating as much as you would like her to. And you're just kind of going with the flow of things because you don't want to become needy, right? So instead what you do is you just kind of hide it and push it under the rug, but it comes out in other avenues. So for example, you go on a trip and she's like, yeah, I would love to go on a trip with you. And then you come back and you haven't seen her for like 3 days or she doesn't reach out to you. And then finally you're like, I took you on this extravagant trip and you haven't even called me in 3 days. Now it's coming, the rug that you swept under is coming out, but more in an emotional state because you're not intentful with the direction that you want to lead this woman into dating you. And that's what I mean is men are the deciding factor when it comes to dating, and they are the choosers. And so a woman must always, and she will be happy to follow the man into the dating and courting process if he is leading her intentfully, naturally, respectfully, and in a way where it shows elegance and it shows dominance, in a way where it's just like, man, this man is so hot because he basically tells me, the things that he wants, the things that, what we can do, the life we can build. Like, he's really clear. And this is what women love, because this is what naturally makes a woman fall into her feminine, especially high quality women. And a high quality man doesn't just fall for a woman's beauty, right? He knows beauty is great and all, and he's not going to date a woman he's not attracted to, but he doesn't let that be the driver of his decision to be with a woman. What he lets be the driver of his decisions to be with a woman is understanding, like, who is she as a woman? I'm not going to get jaded by her beauty and the funness and all of these things that we do together, but instead, like, who is she underneath? Is she able to sustain a great conversation with me? Is she learned from things in her past? Is she good at communication? Is she emotionally available? Is she someone I can trust? Is she someone I can build a family with? Does she actually replicate things that I could see, especially if I want to build a family with a woman? Does she replicate things that I would love for my daughter to be like, right? Is she a good mother? And the same thing goes for a woman with a man. She's going to ask herself, could this man be a great father to my children if I want to have that? Right? So the thing about this, gentleman, is when you are successful and you have this go-getter mentality, the other thing that happens when things don't work out is you get so fixated on it, okay? And the reason why you get so fixated on it is because typically things in your life, when they go wrong, you can always fix them because you always know the problem. But understand me when I say this, is I always say this till I'm blue in the face, is women are very intentional. They're very intuitive as well. And so many times we'll feel an energy of maybe you're trying to do too much, and it'll come off in body language and also come off in the things that you say sometimes. And also too, when things just don't work out in relationships, sometimes it has a lot to do with maybe the way you went about attraction, but also some more of the times has a lot to do with that other person and where they are in life. And I say this all the time, is relationships are lessons. They're assignments for us to get better and venture up and be with the woman that we're supposed to be with. And so many times we get fixated because we look at dating as, if it doesn't work out with this woman, then I failed. And if you really think about that for a second. If it doesn't work out with this woman, I failed. So if you already have this mentality, if it doesn't go well and you get fixated on it, imagine how much pressure you're putting on yourself to make this relationship work, number one. Number two is, because you're putting so much pressure and you're so fixated and you're so goal oriented, what are the things that you might be missing that are maybe red or yellow flags about this woman, or that are not in alignment for the future you, that you're not paying attention to just because you have a goal in mind that you need to attain? And then the third thing about this is, what if I was to tell you that relationships are literally the essence of letting go? Like, relationships are literally the essence of letting go. The more that you let go to see how someone shows up, the more decisive and in control you will be. And so many men actually think opposite. If I could direct her and get her to like me, and I need to do X, Y, and Z, she will like me. And you go about relationships as a doing energy constantly, right? And then goal wasn't hit. What did I do that I need to fix this so I can then get this woman back? But sometimes when we go behind the curtain and we're like, what did she really bring to the table for me? What did I do that I'm not paying attention to that I need to do differently? Right? And so if this is speaking to you, comment below as well. Share this video with a friend that's probably going through this as well. And I want you to know, like, if you are a man that is successful, if you are a man that is dating women and you're just feeling like, I am just feeling so stuck now, Apollonia, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't want to continue this dilemma that I'm having in my life. I'm fixated on this one woman that I let get away. Or, I have options of women, but I'm just sick of having options of women. Like, I want the right option and I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I want to settle down. I want to find a great woman. I want to start a family, whatever the case may be. If this video is speaking to you, I can encourage you just to book a call right below. Click the link and book a call to see how you can work with me. And this is something that I do all the time with so many of my clients. And I've never created a video like this. And I think it was so important for me to do today because what I've noticed is the more and more clients I'm getting is this is a topic that continues to come up. I have so many men that have worked, I've coached over 5,000 men. And the thing is like, so many of them come from different walks of life, different, areas of the world, I should say too. And everybody has similar issues, when it comes to dating, just different storylines. And there's always a reason behind the why of why you do. And so a coach will always help you bring that out and give you that game plan. And so if you want to be successful in dating, if you want to attract higher quality women that are going to make you feel alive and you're going to be the deciding factor of your dating life, then I would highly encourage you just to click that link right below and book a call. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and I love hearing from you, so let's interact in the comments. And last but not least, go ahead and watch this next video right over here, all about attraction, if you want to continue watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video, and remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.